Today on the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast, we are discussing feedback on Wandavision episode 4 because holy crap, that episode was so good and there is so much to talk about and we have so many pages of feedback because theories are abound. The world has broken wide ass open, you guys.
Welcome to the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. My name is Matthew Carroll.
And I'm Jeff Randall.
Jeff Randall, how you doing, buddy?
It's Monday, and we're not going to go through it again because we already had this joke on the last one, but God, it's Monday.
It is. Yeah, those little clips that we put out have really helped me remember that we said things.
Right.
If we could only make clips out of the whole podcast. If the whole podcast was just available to listen somewhere, that would be good.
If only.
If only. So, I did want to mention up top, this week we are starting trivia for the season. It's Wednesday.
Season 3.
Season two. We had the beta seasons. Okay. Yeah. But this is season 2. We had
semantics.
We had pre-seasons where we're working out the kinks, but on Twitch, we're doing Marvel Cinematic Universe trivia every Wednesday night. And it is just really fun, and all you got to do is have a Twitch account. You just type in the thing. It's free. Come on over, and we're giving away prizes. We didn't discuss this beforehand, but what do you think about giving away 2 Oculuses?
2 oculi?
Yeah,
it's one for each eye.
Yeah,
one for each. That's cheaper than a PS5 right now.
Yeah,
and exactly. Probably more readily available.
and goes to 2 people.
Yeah.
So we do the raffle, and 2 people get to win an Oculus.
Okay, we could do a double raffle.
Let's do it.
I'm sure I know how to code that.
I'm sure you can. We'll figure that out. We got 4 months. Anyway, we're starting the season this week. You get points. You get points for answering Marvel Cinematic Universe questions, and you get to win the prizes at the end. So we give away a T-shirt every week. So
you're gonna have to change the graphic.
Yes, I will.
Oh man, what we should do for like where it says season prizes, you're gonna have to change the graphic from the glove, obviously, and the PS5's got to go. But what we can do is we can get pictures of you and me with ours on, and be like, you could join us.
I have fun. We're playing our mini golf.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God.
Our mini golf team.
Throw in a copy of mini golf, and we're sold.
Play a round of mini golf with the MCU cast team.
With us.
That sounds great. Okay, anyway, that's what we're thinking. 2 Oculuses we're giving away this season, plus other prizes. So come join us at twitch.tv/strandedpandatv, twitch.tv/strandedpandatv. It is super fun every Wednesday night, 7:30 Central Time. Come on. We also need to welcome in producer Ashley. How you doing, producer Ashley?
I'm great. I'm in the middle of a snowstorm, which is just fabulous. And I'm like freaking out over this episode. I have so many things to say and none of it makes sense. Like my brain looks like the whiteboard at this point.
Yes.
My notes are so unorganized.
so good. Our brains have looked like the whiteboard since before this episode came out. We've literally, the inside joke has been put it on the board.
Put it on the board.
Put it on the board.
I need that actual whiteboard that Jimmy Woo has, is what I need.
You have to order stuff for your office today.
They do have them on Amazon. I got my friend a whiteboard for Christmas. No shit.
I'll just tack one on to the order.
Yeah, you probably need that in your office.
I don't know. Maybe.
Get your company to pay for you a Jimmy Woo whiteboard, a Jimmy Woo branded whiteboard. It'd be so good if they sold Jimmy Woo branded whiteboards. I don't have room for that, but I would totally be on board.
Yep. You flip it over and it's got like how to do that card trick.
Just permanently etched into it.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's dive right into the feedback. We have 31 pages of feedback and there's no way we're getting to it. Let me throw a quick reminder to please
no way we're getting to any of it.
Keep your feedback as succinct as you can. I know a lot of times I'll get a theory and it'll be like 5 pages long, but really it's only like the last two paragraphs that say anything like per germane to the theory. Like we all are pretty like just get into what's signature about your feedback quickly, and then we can get to more people's feedback. That would be awesome.
Yep. We're getting a lot of. I mean, it's that point in the series where it's like theory crafting abound. So it kind of, it makes sense that there's like you got to work out all of the kinks of the theory and hammer it all out and get your headcanon rolling.
I was amazed. I cut a lot of people that were giving the same theory, but there's still 31 pages of people with different theories.
Put it on the board.
Put it on the board. Let's do it.
All right. Dirty Tastic says, so does Wanda have Vision's body and she's puppet mastering it around to seem alive, quote unquote? Or is he a wholly constructed figment of her imagination? It just made me wonder when the zombie version came into the room, is that actually him and she dropped the illusion for a bit? Or is he wholly created by her?
So there was also a news story going around.
There was a cut post-credits scene, like from Endgame, that had Wanda retrieving Vision's body.
Yeah.
From like a morgue.
Yeah, and they cut it, but that shot exists somewhere, and that gives a lot of people are saying this might actually be Vision's body,
which is really dark.
It's very dark,
really dark. Like that shot at the end of the episode where we see a desaturated, colorless Vision. So the question is that a vision that she is having of Vision because she's remembering the truth, or is that actually Vision's body that she can't? It's real gross,
I think
if she doesn't keep the glamour up, does that mean everybody in the town just sees like zombie Vision floating around?
Ew.
That's gross.
And they all have to play along. It's really dark for Disney, though.
Yeah, but they just did it. They just showed Zombie Vision last episode. It's like it's not like this is too weird for the show. They've already done it, but it is weird, and I don't like it.
Like,
freaks me out.
You say it's not too weird for the show, but like all they did when they had that shot is they just showed him talking and being all zombified. They didn't they have not yet confirmed that she is puppet mastering Vision's corpse.
I agree.
Which is a lot darker than just like a vision of Vision.
Yeah.
Because then there's that scene where they're like, canoodling.
Yeah.
I know. And I personally hope we're going that dark. I'd love it. But I'm not going to get my hopes up.
Oh, he says to get the lights, and then ew.
Yeah, you're right. They definitely. The show has had some birds and bees in it, and that does make that weirder and darker. I don't know, man. Do you think they'll go there? This is one of the most common things that people wrote in. Was like, is this happening?
Yeah, I mean that seems to be the major question. Is Vision? Like, what is Vision? What is this Vision? Is this a construct of her imagination? Is it is she forcing somebody else to be Vision in a Wonder Woman 1984 kind of way?
Yeah.
Is it she's just puppet mastering his corpse? Are we going pro necrophilia here? Like Muzzinet says?
Yes.
I'm just typing him. I'm not saying that out loud, but I think it's funny.
It's too late. We already did. We went there.
It's in the ether.
We've been dancing on that necrophilia line for about 2 minutes now. We might as well just say it. That's so weird.
But Vision isn't an actual human? Does he decompose? Does the Vision body decompose?
No.
Well,
I mean...
Oh, no. So now you're getting into the nuts and bolts.
We just watched Ultron yesterday.
Necrophilia question.
No, Wanda is getting into the nuts and bolts, and that's what we're asking about.
Two twins, nuts and bolts. It all makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, let's divert off this topic. Speaking of
this is a really dark topic.
What
to
is
go
Vision?
Down.
The answer is we don't know. Let's just say that to Nerdy-tastic, and everyone else who wrote in, we don't know. But it does seem like it's a possibility that Vision is being puppet mastered around, which is
on
gross.
The board.
When we watched Ultron last night, I guess we have to think that he is made up of human kind of cells, the way that they fixed Barton. Because it wasn't like he created completely out of the same stuff that they used to
Well, but it was vibranium.
Yeah, it was vibranium woven into it.
How does he have eyeballs?
Well, they're not real. Okay, so that's one of the things that I pointed out in our chat. after the fact, like, and I talked about it on the last episode, his eyes in WandaVision look too natural. They look like regular person eyes. And that's not what his eyes look like when he's created. Like in Age of Ultron, there are several shots where you can see his eyes have like, they're almost like apertures, like camera apertures.
Yeah.
And they're very, very mechanical. But in the show, they look like regular person eyes. And I wonder if she's not putting Pietro's eyes on Vision, because Pietro has very blue eyes the way that he has.
We mentioned the blue eyes last week, and
that makes it weirder, Jeff.
It does.
Yeah, a little bit.
It does. Here's so let me get to the thing I'm trying to get to, and you brought up his eyes. Some Harmony, I think she's Harmony Harm in the chat here. She sent me a TikTok that was a guy realizing that every episode of the show ends by zooming in to Vision's eye. You know, apparently.
Not the last one, did it?
Apparently, like the first thing you see in that little thing where it zooms in and turns all digital is Vision's zooming into Vision's eye, and it happens. It happens in first 4 episodes, and apparently, I guess it's like the first thing you see in that little thing, but it's a different version of that shot in each thing, which is weird.
I haven't seen that, so I can't confirm or deny that. I don't remember that being the thing.
It is possible.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
It is possible they edited the TikTok strangely, but like he just shows that it's the first thing they show in that little, you know, how the end credit sequence. When it goes to the end credit sequence, that digital thing, they always start it with a zoom in on Vision's eye. Which is weird. That's a weird thing to start with every time.
That is an odd thing.
I will have to confirm it, but this just came through last night, and I was like, interesting.
Now, like, I did notice that when, you know, it flips to the please stand by as the first thing, right? When it goes to the, like, directed by Matt Shackman, it flips to that, and then, like, there's often, like, close-ups of people's eyes or people's faces. And, like, in episode 4, there was a close-up of Vision's, like, irisless, pupilless, like just white eyes. I remember that, but I don't know that there's necessarily like a zoom in to it.
Right.
But, you know, send me that TikTok so that we can talk more about it.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny this week on the Stranded Panda chat, which you should all join, facebook.com, Stranded Panda chat. That's not the URL. I don't know why I said it that way. Just search for Stranded Panda chat. But for some reason this week we turned the corner on TikTok, where people are sharing more TikToks than they are YouTube videos. I think it's very funny, and I wonder what it portends. I feel like we've got like 4 or 5 people sharing like, check out this TikTok about WandaVision. I'm like, weird. We're in that world now. There's
so many YouTube videos that are like, you know, they're like, I hate to name names, but like Emergency Awesome Charlie, like his videos are like about 9 minutes of him just talking about bullshit and talking in circles, and then actually like a little bit of interesting stuff. He's like, this is an article posted by We Got This Covered, but I'm going to take it as gospel. So now that we've all agreed that it is the gospel, like here's what this implicates. Like,
like no. At least just say, hey, here's a rumor, and let's speculate about it and have fun with it. But it's a rumor, and we know that. Like that's the thing you gotta to be honest with people, that like this is not you're not actually spinning gospel. You're spinning like a possibility that could be fun to talk about.
Right.
But yeah, a lot of YouTubers do that. The other thing, YouTube incentivizes watch time, so it wants you to keep people on the platform longer. And so it incentivizes you to make a 10-minute long video, even if you only have 30 seconds worth of stuff to say. And TikTok is like, you got 1 minute, you better get your stuff out. So like, I do think there's like there's a thing there. Let's get to the next feedback.
Fox Peterson says, maybe I'm missing some deep Wanda lore, but I am wondering why Wanda and Vision would be the 2 characters of all the Avengers who would have a nostalgic connection with American family sitcoms. Wanda grew up in Sokovia, spelling to be determined, with Pietro, and I would guess they didn't speak English. The mysteriously disappearing Ultron accent shall not be mentioned. Have a television that played TV Land on Nickelodeon on weeknights after 8, or had parents with VCRs and collections of Welcome Back, Kotter reruns. That's normal here, right? Right? And Vision, well, he's a machine who was literally born yesterday, quote unquote. So any memory he has of this era would be just data without emotion, as he wouldn't have actually watched the shows in real time, and thus made some personal context and new data that could be longed for to me. And I really did love this episode, and all the analysis is just a gas. Please tell me I'm not the only one who now tries to use that phrase daily. It is confusing why Wanda and Vision would be the characters to create and order this weird Americana world where neither of them have a background that makes a deep emotional connection with it. Do any pandas have a reason that's not tautological why Wanda's Vision idealizes an American dream that she probably never had?
Ba-doop. I could break in. When I was in Greece, we went to some like really remote like places in Greece, and a couple of places there. They stream in countries all over the world old American TV shows. We were watching, I'd never seen Early Edition, and after we would go to the beach all day, we would rush home to watch Early Edition. And it's in English, it's just subtitled at the bottom, so that's not strange at all.
Okay. Yeah, that's
for
the
her
first
side, yeah.
That's the first thing, like, yes, American sitcoms are everywhere, and oftentimes in countries where they don't get current TV, sometimes those shows are still running like in prime time in other countries, like 20 years behind where they ran in prime time here. Now that's probably less true today with the internet, but like probably around when Wanda grew up, those would absolutely have been on her TV. At least there's a strong precedent for that in the world, that like in countries around the world, we export our television everywhere, and old TV Land episodes are absolutely on their TV. And as for Vision, it's like, you think about Vision, he like has been consuming all of the world's data for years and trying to understand humanity. And if part of how he's doing that is ingesting all of our art, then you can see that he would want a little family. Like in the comics, he wants a family, and it, like just like any human does. And a lot of why humans want a particular type of like nuclear family is because we've seen it on TV so much.
Because of those TV shows that condition us to want that.
Exactly. And so I don't see why he would be any different. If he's like sort of struggling with this sort of the being that he is and trying to be more of that, I could absolutely see him growing that. Now, I don't think they've explained any of that. That is all headcanon, but I think they easily could. They could have a shot of her and Pietro as kids watching those sitcoms, and that would explain the whole thing. Or they could have a shot of, if it ends up being a vision of his, i.e. the eyeball zoom in, then they could easily just explain that like he's wanted to be human, all the stuff I just said.
Right.
It's like the Fifth Element. He just downloaded it all.
Yeah. So I think that's, but I hear where Fox is coming from, but I do think that's pretty possible for both these characters, but it is headcanon at this point.
Yeah. Without any confirmation, it's all headcanon, but you know, it feels like it's a really easy step to that headcanon.
Yeah, I agree.
So take the step, Fox. Take the step. Come with us.
Icarus says we don't know what they were doing when they were in Scotland. Maybe they were watching sitcoms and chilling, which is 100% true.
That's great. I keep talking. We've talked about that multiple times. Her and Pietro as kids, but like, what if it is her and Vision falling asleep on a couch in Scotland, like watching old episodes of Lucy or whatever? That would be.
I like it.
I like that too.
It's too cute, and it rips my heart out.
Good idea, Chris. Good idea.
Jordan Pierce says, while I love the theory, I don't think it can be the guy from Modern Family. He was a psychiatrist that dated Betty in Incredible Hulk after Bruce left, so it would be weird having him play another character in the MCU.
I disagree.
Poor Phil.
I disagree.
I'd like to see him, though.
It's perfect that Mephisto has been in the MCU all along. First, he tried to get Hulk's powers, and then now he's pretended to be. He's still the psychologist, whatever his like earthly role is, and he's like
Doc Samson. He's kind of a little bit of a big deal,
right? He's Wanda's grief counselor, and now he's trying to worm his way into, manipulating her powers. He's been there all along. This is perfect.
All along.
All along. Doc Samson has a little bit of a role in comics in that, like, he gets irradiated in some way and gets super strong again. Or not again, but he gets super strong because that's what Gamma does to you, is makes you hulky. But he's got, like, long, like, nuclear green hair. It's, Samson, like, biblical. Anyway.
Plowing forward.
Samson.
Could be Mephisto, though.
Yeah, totally Mephisto.
I have changed who I think Mephisto is for sure.
Oh, who do you think Mephisto is now?
I think it's Dottie. I really do.
Interesting.
I go back to when Agatha said, Dottie is the key to the entire city and all that stuff, and then how she doesn't even have a profile up on there.
Yeah.
And even Agatha seemed a little, like, not afraid of her, but, like, that's your boss kind of thing.
Yeah, but Agatha was getting drunk at the meeting.
So I get drunk in front of my bosses.
Like, she seemed more just kind of fed up with Dottie's attitude of, like, running the neighborhood and knowing it kind of thing.
She was being the classic Karen from Will and Grace, not like the angry Karens that scream at people for skateboarding.
Right. Well, like, she was being the classic Karen, and Dottie was being the modern Karen, as we'll call it.
I don't know. There's something weird there.
Okay, maybe. I'm not going to completely discount it. It's still on the board.
Well, so there's sort of an article that said from her, what's her name, who plays Amelia?
Emma Caulfield.
Not Amelia. Yeah, Emma Caulfield. That Feige had to personally approve her character, like her being hired for whatever role she was playing.
Oh, okay. Well, see, that's some background information.
That's insider trading right there.
That's insider trading. But no, that
I don't play fair.
She did play a demon on Buffy.
Mm-hmm. She was good. I loved her on Buffy.
Me too. I absolutely love her on Buffy. And I could totally see, I have seen it on Buffy where she goes real crazy and it is really like doing the demon thing. And she's awesome. Mm-hmm. So I think it could be rad if she was Mephisto. But it is weird that she's only really been focused in one episode, Mm-hmm. Like if she's Mephisto, I would think she would have been there from the beginning and really had been like a main part of it.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think that Marvel is taking us down so many rabbit holes to bring up the bunnies thing. So many rabbit holes, so many red herrings. Like I think they want to keep us guessing. And if it is that Dottie is Mephisto, then having her not be the focus keeps her out of that limelight and keeps us guessing for longer.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, look at us. We're like, it's the stork.
Yeah.
It's the stork.
It's the rabbit into the stork into.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
There's gonna be another creature in episode 5.
Yep. I like this Jeffrey James feedback here. Okay, I'm gonna make this comment against my better
Jeffrey
judgment.
James.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna make this comment against my better judgment, but because I had no previous knowledge of the comic books involved, when you first started talking on the cast about Wanda's twins, I thought you were talking about something entirely different.
Oh my God.
I mean, how can you not? Have you seen her?
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Jeffrey James.
She looked so fantastic in this episode, just like her intensity when she's getting ready to throw Monica out the side of the house. Like that was some acting. Acting?
Yeah. There's just been so much range, like range in a weird way, because you get normally when an actor has range in an episode or a movie, like it's because they can go to different places emotionally. But this, like, they can act so well as like a 50s style sitcom, or she can be the Wanda she was at the very end of this episode 4, where she is just herself and angry and serious. And it's just interesting the kind of range that they're allowing these actors to kind of portray. I love it.
I feel like it's fun for them to like, you know, throw it all away in an hour and a half or whatever for a couple of episodes where, like, you know, they're doing the 50s sitcom, 60s sitcom, 70s sitcom, and just kind of like go into that style because it's so over the top a lot of times where, you know, their normal performances are a little bit more subtle and like rein in the subtlety in just a few key moments that make us go, what? Hold on, something is going on. Something is different here. And then, you know, fuels the speculation engine.
That is a big challenge as an actor, I feel like, to be able to attenuate that sort of over the topness that way. And I really love that they've done that. It's really an interesting element to the show.
Yep. This is gonna be a gas. I feel like maybe Feige said that to them, like as they were hired. He's like, "This is gonna be a gas," and they're like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well, you got to get into that's the feel of it. Come on, follow me, follow me here." 084 says, "I am so hyped by the amazing answers we got in WandaVision episode 4. I still don't think it needs to take away from the quality of the first 3, though." And I also don't think it should take away from future episodes where they return to the sitcom format. It's all so good in different ways, and I love it.
Clearly referencing here the fact that a lot of people didn't like the first 3 episodes or thought they went too long. I love the first 3 episodes, but I clearly was hungering for this the entire time. And I am glad we're here, but that doesn't mean I don't like the first 3, but I'm definitely was wanting this as soon as possible. And I'm glad we got it.
We needed our mini movie.
It feels like Act 1 of the mystery or the suspense thriller or whatever, where, you know, we're brought into the world and we have to kind of like find out how things are happening and find out what's going on, like along with some of the characters. And then once the characters find out, we find out, and then it's you know,
it really is sort of that classic horror trope where you're following along with the character as they go into the nice mansion, and it's just a nice mansion, and they hang out with people, and you need that part to establish. But it's such a weird concept that instead of them going to a house and being part of a party before the people start dying, they're in a sitcom. Like, it's so weird. Yeah. It's such a weird and cool idea. I love it.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, I'd say that's a credit to the creators of the show, and really a credit to Feige for like going down that route. Like, it's a bold move to do this sort of thing.
Bold and experimental and cool and different and something that the world has never seen before. I freaking love it.
To bring up horror movies, what they're doing in the town to me seems very like with everybody not knowing who the people in the town were or forgetting that there was a town and all. And that's exactly what happened in It.
Yeah.
It made the townspeople forget about the missing children. So this seems very witchy to me that, you know, just a little, you know, there's somebody else is doing that, I think, besides Wanda.
There's some interesting, we have some interesting feedback about that. I don't know if we'll get to it or not, so I'll just say it now. Somebody wrote in, and we may get to it, that they were speculating that the 2 police officers outside of Westview are one of the first incursions we've seen. So them saying that Westview doesn't exist, they're from Eastview, is because in whatever town in whatever universe they're from, it was Eastview, and that's why they're acting weird.
That's crazy.
Oh man,
it's called Eastview, and that's like Anyway,
what was weirder was that the witness protection person, that his relatives and anybody who knew him didn't remember him anymore, or him or her, whoever the witness protection person was.
That's right. And we still don't know who that is. There was somebody, saw some speculation. It may be in the feedback. I don't know. I read 30-something pages of feedback last night, and I don't know what was news and what was feedback, and I'm just confused. But somebody was speculating that I think he said it was a man, but someone was
said him over and over again.
Yeah, but you know that could be misdirection. He's good at that now. That someone was speculating that it could be Wanda, because what was he doing before this? He was the guy responsible for Scott's house arrest.
Right.
And so why would he go from being the guy responsible for Scott's house arrest working with an Avenger and their house arrest to, this job of like, we're checking on a CI, I guess. I don't know. It just seemed, I was like, that's not a bad thought that he could also, because she was also on the other side in Civil War, and he could be dealing with her house arrest that she has here.
Yeah.
It's a lot of house arrest.
But why would he call it witness protection though? Like, why would he call that witness protection?
It could be the cover. It could be a, dissemination of information issue.
We compartmentalize sword. You don't compartmentalize sword. Sword compartmentalizes you.
You totally compartmentalize sword. And also, he's an FBI agent. He would be compartmentalized in the FBI. Like, absolutely, they do that kind of stuff. Like, not letting especially with CIs, but like, you could see why people might not want to know that Wanda is living in their town or whatever, and that could be a secret.
What if that? Oh, okay.
You just got a theory.
I do have a theory that I've been crafting for a few minutes now, like 10 at the most. What if this witness protection person that got Wu into it is not related to this story, but is related to another, or to the MCU as a whole? Maybe a different story that links to other franchises that he's been in. What if his witness protection person is young Kang?
Ooh. Yeah.
And
sure.
he's having to he's in hiding from himself.
Who was young Kang in the
He was Iron Lad.
That's right, Iron Lad. And he had come back. But yeah, I'm trying to remember the comic book we read for the patrons a couple months ago.
He was running from himself.
Yeah. It's interesting because it is someone working for the FBI. Like, so this is an FBI case. So I feel like if it were Kang, that would be a shield or a sword issue. Maybe. But so does Ant-Man feels that way too, but still like, this is the guy who did it. So that's what makes me think like there might be more to it. But anyway, I like the theory. I'm not sure who wrote it in. We might get to it. Let's keep going.
Yeah, maybe. 084 continues. We wanted answers. We got them. The scene at the start with Monica unsnapping into complete chaos was everything I wanted and more. The episode could have been complete garbage after that, and I would still call it a winner. But since it was decidedly not complete garbage, I'll keep talking. So many tidbits about the Rambeau family and its sword origins, and I loved every second of it. I also loved how Darcy spent the last 10 years since we've seen her following in Jane's footsteps and becoming a doctor. My little continuity-loving heart has grown 3 sizes this day. I don't want to over-ramble, but something clear that stuck out to me is that Dottie and Agnes weren't identified by the task force in this episode. That definitely points to the Agatha and Mephisto story, or Agatha and Mephisto theory for those two. Her being identified as a real person might unfortunately rule him out as the high evolutionary, unfortunately, cue sad trombone. There's so much more that I want to gush about from this episode, but I'll cut it off here. So freaking excited. Until next time.
Thank you, OA4. So there's been a lot of speculation about Dottie's picture not being up there at all. And Dottie, I don't know. I don't see that. To me, that doesn't give much info. It literally gives no information is the thing. So maybe it's not up there because they just haven't seen her yet. We don't know exactly. There's some hinkiness going on with which episodes they've seen and stuff like that. Yeah. Like they may have not seen her episode yet where they go to the club.
Melissa in the chat had said that she meets the character Beverly at that swim club party at the same time that she met Dottie. So
maybe. I mean, that's the first time we see her.
That's the first time we see her, but could be a different episode. We talked about how there's definitely other episodes that they see that we don't.
Yeah, like there was footage of
Monica.
Wanda and Agnes. Wanda and Agnes were shopping, and that's the first time they saw Monica as Geraldine, when she was just kind of like in the foreground, and in the background was Wanda and Agnes. Like that was footage that we hadn't seen before. So, I mean, obviously they're getting other episodes, and maybe Beverly shows up in one of those other episodes, and and Dottie just had not been there yet. Because that seemed to be the first meeting, like based on what Agnes was saying and how Wanda was uncertain. That seemed to be the first meeting of Dottie, right?
Well, when did they do the whiteboard scene? Was it before or after they tried to go through on the radio, TV? Or on the radio?
That was before, like a while before. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I had seen that they hadn't gotten to that pool party or the pool club, swim club meet, whatever, the thing where they met with Dottie. Like, they hadn't done that yet as far as the episode was concerned. Or as far as the episode was going. But it was weird, like...
They didn't do that for no reason. They didn't do that for no reason.
No,
we know it.
They did it so we'd be having these conversations for the next week. They like did. Yeah. I would not put it past Marvel for everyone started speculating about Dottie and they were like, hey guys, take her off the board. Just like CGI that picture out. You know what I mean? Like they easily could have done that just to mess with us. I could see them doing the same thing with Herb. Like maybe they oh, everyone thinks he's a high evolutionary. That's hilarious. Let's take him. Let's not give him a driver's license, you know?
That's what they did to me with freaking Agnes, is that they put her picture up. They like blanked out the legal name. There was no legal name there. And her picture was on there without a driver's license. And I'm like, oh man, like everybody's freaking out. Like she doesn't have a license. She doesn't have a legal name. Like obviously she's somebody else. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And this was like, on the teaser last week for this episode, I was like, that looks shopped, because the picture that they have for everybody else is slightly tilted in one way or the other, but hers is like perfectly lined up with the edge of the paper, and it doesn't look like there's a paper clip on it because the paper clip is holding the picture and the license on there. Like, there's something going on here. I was like, maybe, this has to be a red herring that Marvel is doing. You just watch in the next episode. If she does have a license, then we'll know.
It's crazy too, because we know they can do this stuff. We know they can CGI this stuff in and out on Disney Plus, especially because they've already fixed that sleeve problem of Vision.
Yep,
it's crazy. A couple episodes ago, there was
episode 3
when Vision's on the swing. Yep, in episode 3, when Vision's on the swing, there's a shot where you can see inside his sleeve, and they didn't paint his arm. And then days later, they had already fixed it and made the arm purple or whatever underneath.
I believe he's fuchsia.
Yeah, he's kind of a fuchsia, I guess.
Yeah.
But they had sampled his color and added it under there, just like just give him a quick spackle.
Yep, they did it. It's crazy. So that's the kind of stuff that we know they can do. So that if people are bouncing theories around and they want to lean into one, they could easily have done things like take Dottie off the board. So anyway.
Anyway.
Stephanie Haynes says, "Hey all, my name is Stephanie and I'm a first-time writer. What do you think happened to the sword agent / beekeeper? Wanda saw him, said no, rewound time, and we never hear about him again. Did he go back on his own? Did she send him back? Did rewinding it like it never happened make him disappear? Am I overthinking this? Just let me know what you guys think. Thanks for everything. Love you, 2,999. 3,000 if you answer this."
Very cute. I like that.
Well, prepare to have it be 3,000.
All right, we're going to work on this being 3,000. Thank you, Stephanie. And thanks for writing in for the first time. Woo. So I can't believe we didn't talk about this last week, because I definitely had feelings about it and then we just didn't get to it. But like, the beekeeper disappears, never comes back. Did she erase that man from existence?
I saw somebody say he was the ice cream. It was the same guy doing the ice cream in the beginning of episode 3 or something in the credits. So like he got like sucked into the world. But that's just what I saw.
She's like, nope, you have a part now and you need to get to it.
Just like Geraldine.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So does that mean he was converted to a beekeeper, it's just kind of weird. So he's converted to a beekeeper when he goes through the thing. So whatever mind powers she has, they clearly like have acknowledged him and transferred him into a thing that she can recognize inside the world. But then when he gets there, he still seems to have intention on disrupting what's going on. So it's weird because she changed his body but didn't change his mind. And then when he gets out of the sewer, she changes everything, and it seems that I didn't see the fact that he was the ice cream man. That's interesting.
Well, that's not fact, because now people are saying that it's not the same actor, and it's like, who looked up who those extras were? I guess I'll look it up now.
Well, that actor is apparently one of their common stunt performers in Marvel.
Yeah,
he's been in a ton of movies.
Stunt coordinator, yeah.
Yeah, so people know him. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear that he had been the ice cream.
I mean, like the random. How did you look up the random ice cream guy for 2 seconds in the title of season 3?
I guess if you just know that actor, then maybe you can see it's not him. Okay, what do we got next?
Charles M. Kelly says, "Hey guys, just listening to your episode 4 reaction episode. I heard you mention the theory that this is perhaps Wanda remaking the Mind Stone. I'm surprised you guys didn't mention that in one of the featurettes / trailers toward the end. It looks like Wanda is doing just that. And then the Mind Stone comes back together and is glowing on her face."
So I haven't seen one where it actually comes together. There is one where she is looking at it and it seems to explode as far as I've seen it, right? It seems like it goes, it explodes.
Yeah, all I remember seeing is that she's got her arms out, and it looks like she's in her like prisoner attire, or like when she was a prisoner of Hydra
or whatever. It was into
no. I mean, like before, like in the beginning of Age of Ultron.
Okay.
Or when she was when she was one of the miracles.
Yeah, that was into Civil War, right?
No, it was not. When she was one of the miracle children.
Winter Soldier is what I meant to say. Sorry.
Okay, Captain America 2, not 3.
Yeah, sorry. That's what I had. I fully was meaning that and saying the wrong title. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm sure the chat is going crazy.
Yes to what you mean, but not what you said.
Thank you. That's all I wanted.
Yes to what you meant. But yeah, it looked like she had her arms out and it was bathing her in its light.
Yeah.
But it looks like that's going to be more a and in her head kind of.
We don't know. We have no idea. We have speculated on previous episodes that is more of a that's a flashback of her remembering her past. Because why is she in that outfit? I don't think she would imagine, if she's just remaking the Mind Stone, I don't think she would imagine herself in that outfit. Of course, I also wouldn't put it past Marvel to put her in that outfit to deceive us. So I have no idea. It's all confusing. But yes, there is a shot of the Mind Stone. Because she gets her powers from the Mind Stone and she's in that outfit when she does. So we have speculated that is her remembering the truth of the world, and that's part of her past, is her getting her powers and her being irradiated by the Mind Stone and getting her powers. And also I think that will be her finally fully understanding her powers, that she can't just do a little telekinesis, swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. She also has the power to create worlds as she's doing this.
Create realities.
Well, it's the Big Bang dust or whatever she's using, right? What did they call it?
Sprinkle a little Big Bang dust on
Yeah, it was Big Bang dust. I'm pretty sure that's what that sword agent said.
Yeah, CMBR, Big Bang dust. The same thing.
What? No.
CMBR, cosmic microwave background
Listen, I don't want to know what you're into, man. That's cool.
We don't kink shame around here.
No kink shame. CMBR, S&M, Airbnb, whatever you're into.
Whoa. Sir. Whatever you're into. I like to sleep in other people's beds. What?
Yeah.
Anyway, Andrew says, I just had a thought. What if Herb was about to say, we're all mutants, which is why some people are sucked in while others have to force their way in?
Or Herb says, we're all Basil, and then he dusts away like it's a Herb joke. It's a Herb joke.
Somebody sage us.
All right, we don't have time for this. Let's move on.
Did you guys talk about how the helicopter drone was Captain Marvel's colors? I loved that.
Oh, we didn't talk about that. I like that a lot. I like that.
And I thought it was interesting. When it goes in, it's Tony's colors.
I'm so disappointed.
Laughing so hard saying plowing forward. All right. So, Andrew, yes, we're all mutants would probably be a possible thing that Herb could have been saying. A lot of people are speculating the mutants thing, that like either the town is mutants or this is going to create the mutants, or that the radiation for the CMBR, the Airbnb is going to spread everywhere and get in everybody and like create whatever their thing is.
Lots of revenue streams going on. Yeah, the town is 3,892 people. That would be a great number to start with. As far as like putting mutants into the world.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I kind of love that. They've already called out how many people are in the town. So if they did create mutants and then like whatever, spread them around the world or something, like we just know that there's that
just
many.
Sprinkle them in like the Big Bang does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I wonder if Monica will become Photon because she was dusted, and then because of going in and out of Wanda's like energy TV field, I wonder if that might change something for her.
You know, not only did she go in there and get irradiated with the CMBR a lot, but she also caught a Wanda blast to the face, you know, when she got thrown through a couple of walls and a fence and field and outside. She's probably going to be knocked out for a little bit, but I would not be surprised if that gave her some power and made her into, I'm thinking either Photon in honor of her mom, because that was one of her comics names, or Spectrum, which is one of her comics names as well. And if looking over her shoulder as she's walking into the Sword headquarters, there was the WHIH news screen on one side, and the one in the middle that was like right over her shoulder said Spectrum News. And Spectrum is one of her comics hero names. Yeah. I wonder if that was a little bit of foreshadowing there.
Yeah, either like foreshadowing that, or it's a call out to the comic book origin, which like might mean that that's not what they're going to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that's the...
Well, I mean, fuck, at one point she was Captain Marvel in the comics.
Right, like, right.
Yeah, so she was the first Captain Marvel.
Oh, was she?
Mm-hmm. The first person to call themselves Captain Marvel.
Oh, interesting.
Marvel was the first one, wasn't he?
Was he Captain Marvel?
Yeah, was he Captain Marvel? He says Marvel, and she says Marvel.
That's a good point.
Oh my God.
He was the first Captain Marvel.
I don't know. Muzzy, look it up for me.
I like... So Andrew also says about the mutants here that we didn't touch on yet. He says, because I interrupted with a bad joke, which is why some people are sucked in while others have to force their way in. That is interesting. Not necessarily force their way in, but like the beekeeper had to crawl in, but Monica put her hand into the field and it sucked her in. So what's the difference there? Why? I don't know.
None of us know.
The field probably like sensed her or something and decided to turn her into a part of the story and just brought her on in.
I mean, like, why is Jimmy Woo kept out? Like he said, you can feel it, right? Nobody's supposed to go in.
Right.
And then like that seems to suggest that either he just was not interested and kind of was turned away. Because it was, what is it? Oh, God. In Hitchhiker's Guide. It was an SCP field. It was an SCP field, and he was just like, nah, and turned away. Or did he try and did he hit a barrier and was just like, hey, what is this?
Well, it sounded like he didn't try, but he also like was told by some force in himself inside his brain that he wasn't supposed to try. Like he said, which is interesting because Monica apparently didn't experience that enough to keep her away. She walks up, puts her hands on, and gets sucked in. So yeah, that's a great point. On top of who gets sucked in and who walks through, like why are there, why do people feel differently? And I just love this episode so much because they do all the nerdy speculation and headcanoning that we do. Like Monica walks up and is like, why are these cops affected by this field that's telling them Westview doesn't exist while we aren't? And she's like, maybe it has something to do with our proximity to this area. And then, but the sword agents are all also converging on that area. So what if it starts affecting the sword agents? Or was it a one-time thing? Clearly, Jimmy Woo has this effect that she doesn't have. So, like, is it because he's been there longer? All of that is good questions. What if Westview never existed? What if she's already changing the whole world? You know what I mean?
Ooh, what if M style?
Yeah. Like, what if she's creating this little town and everyone who remembers Westview is actually wrong, right? Like, what if all these creations, all the people's IDs that they're finding have all been implanted by Wanda because she wanted to change the world to create this little town and has been like changing it as she felt as she felt appropriate. I don't know.
Like, why would she, like, if she did all of that to so many people, why is that one guy unaffected?
That's what we're asking.
Yeah.
Where he's like Eastview, sheriff, and his car had Eastview Sheriff on it.
Yeah, for sure. Which is the
changing reality.
The thing that somebody brought up, I think, in the feedback somewhere that we might get to, is
Incursion.
The idea that they're an incursion. Like, what if they're an incursion from the other reality or left over from the other reality, like a little pocket that was missed, at the seams, at the edge of the little universe, something slipped through.
Or, I mean, okay, so if you Google this, and God, I did. If you go to Google Maps,
all of our Google search histories are so effed up after this.
Yeah. Apparently, Google thinks I'm going to New Jersey very soon. I looked for Westview. Westview's there. I looked for where it is in relation to Hackensack. It's there. I looked for where it is in relation to the town that they lived in the comics. I'm looking for Eastview. Eastview doesn't actually exist on the map. It's not there. Mm-hmm. But there is an Eastview like avenue or an Eastview street. It's like this big on the map. They apparently are just like, all right, so he's going to New Jersey.
Yeah. Google is going to think so many people are heading to New Jersey soon. Like New Jersey is going to get like weirdly, like all the hotels in the area are going to think it's going to be busier than it is or something.
Yep. Crestkill. It was Crestkill, New Jersey.
Crestkill, yeah.
Still New Jersey. I love how much is happening in New Jersey. And it all sort of just swirls around and these, shield facilities and, the SSR facility was there in New Jersey. They got destroyed in Winter Soldier.
Lie.
Yeah. So all that stuff, it all kind of swirls around the same area. And I wonder why.
Maybe she went there because she saw Hamilton and was like, everything's legal in New Jersey.
Okay. She took Hamilton as gospel and went there to create her own town because it's legal there.
Because, they've been in upstate New York for, I guess we have to think that she lived there for at least 2 years?
Yeah, at least, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So she was pretty close.
She's probably flying all around. She's like, no one will notice if I do this in Jersey.
Yeah, right.
No one.
Nobody. Jordan Metro says, hey guys, just had a quick thought. There's been a bunch of people speculating that the people in Westview will become mutants, but what if in the next few episodes we see Monica start to develop powers and become Photon by the end of the show? That would certainly give her cause to be in Captain Marvel too. Loving the show, Jordan Metro.
Absolutely. I think we just talked about this, but yes, like I think it's totally possible that she will follow her comics origins and become a sentient weapon, as it were.
A sentient weapon?
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting. Actually, I like this a lot. What if she becomes a sentient weapon and they're SWORD is supposed to be a group of humans monitoring sentient weapons, and she ends up getting kicked from Sword, like kind of leaving her little.
You can't be an agent anymore.
Yeah, you can't be an agent anymore. You are what you're the thing that we have to watch.
Oh man, that's rough.
And like that's her connection to her mother. That's her connection to her childhood. She's known nothing but Sword her whole life, but now she's the subject of Sword.
Oh man, my mom built this place from the ground up. I grew up here. I am Sword. You can't kick me out.
Yeah.
That's all I hear. Ugh.
Don't you love that the two agents are made by these badass women? Like, Peggy Carter created S.H.I.E.L.D. and Maria created Sword. I love it.
Yeah, I love how many strong women are in these shows. They really does have a diversity of like, although we started with 4 male heroes in the MCU, it's diversified pretty strongly now, and I like it.
Me too.
She's not alone.
I didn't mean that kind of girl power.
We like the girl power when it's just part of the world. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, it can be done naturally, Marvel.
Tastefully.
Yeah.
Right.
And I get it. Some people absolutely love that moment, and I'm happy for them. I really am.
It's really great. It's really great.
I like the sentiment of that moment. I don't like how they did it. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. What we're here to talk about
doesn't need their help.
I've said that so many times. Like, this is the one person.
Why did you guys have to open this up again?
It's the one person that doesn't need backup, and you're like, no, she won't be alone. Like, she can take out everything out there without anybody.
I really would have much preferred that moment if they're like, she's not alone, and all these ladies line up behind her, and she's like, guys, I'm Captain Marvel. I got this. And they
just wrecks everything.
And they're back there like, yep, but we're here for you if you need us. Just call us. Okay.
Why was she up there this whole time?
Yeah.
Exactly like that. Okay, so now that we're talking about old stuff, let's bring Corey Small in, who actually put coffee grounds in Tony's sink in the disposal.
I wonder if there's an answer to that. I wonder if we can I wonder if there's some shot in a different movie where someone puts coffee grounds in. That'd be really great.
I don't think there is.
I don't think there is either, but it'd be great. Maybe there will be.
It's in Civil War. He says, "Who's putting coffee grounds in the disposal? What am I running a bed and breakfast for a biker gang?"
Which that doesn't make any sense, and I hate that line. Just bothers me every time. Bikers,
Bikers are really respectful people.
He can't stop quipping himself. I get it, Tony. Biker gang.
I think that's the point. He's like going overboard with like how bad I'm just explaining a joke. I shouldn't explain a joke.
No, I like that whole scene makes me angry because I'm so Team Cap that he's like, we dropped this on this poor kid's head. I'm like, you did it. You created Ultron, but that's for a whole different thing. Sorry.
There's no way. Don't lump me in with you.
Yeah, you're the only one who made a murder bat.
I told you not to do that.
You literally hid it from us, and then you're outlawing us.
We have to get sentenced. You need to turn your shit in right now. You're benched.
He's the guy who breaks all the rules and becomes the hall monitor. Like, what the fuck, Tony?
Right? Right? Oh, shit. You're benched. I love it. Like it's a fucking sports team. Like it's a sports team.
Right. Sports. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Anytime we reach sports, that's a dead end for me. We just should move on.
That's a good idea. I'll start saying that more.
Any sports reference, we move on.
Yep. Isn't the Super Bowl happening soon? Next on our
Yeah. Thank you, producer Ashley. You got us moving with that quick sports reference. What does Luke Murphy have to say?
Luke Murphy says, "Hey, Matt, Jeff, Ashley, and Matthew. Finally listened to the latest WandaVision episode, and I'd interpret Herb cutting the wall differently. I understood it that the contractions were causing the reality to glitch. So Herb was just glitching. Like with the lights spinning around, the pipes all leaking. This might even be why he and Agnes were a little bit more aware they're essentially puppets, when we haven't seen that kind of awareness before. Also, at the end of your Instant Take episode, there was an accidental beekeeping comment made that tickled me. Keep doing what you do for the pandas.
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 Yes. Thank you for the pandas. I really enjoyed that. This piece of feedback definitely got moved up in the layers of feedback because it said for the pandas at the end.
Matt is absolutely willing to take brides, you guys. Bribes, not brides.
Many brides.
I take many brides and many bribes.
Many bribes from many brides.
What?
I don't know.
That's a whole different TV show.
Luke has a great point here. We talked about this. I think we mentioned this a little bit, but yeah, the glitching, it could just be glitching and not him trying to break through. People took it as in different ways. A lot of people took it as just glitching.
I equated it to animatronics. But maybe he just thought that the wall was a piece of parsley and needed to be cut. God, I'm so
It's
upset
time to stop, Jeff. It is time to stop.
He's just a man doing work on his herb garden.
Stop. It didn't need to go this far. It didn't need to go this far.
You're mustarding it up, man.
No.
You're right. We mustard move on.
So today in women's basketball.
All right, Andre Sparks. What does Andre Sparks have to say?
Andre Sparks says, hey, # best podcast team.
Hey, thank you.
Episode 4 and the trailer that shows what's to come has me hyped. Few things. The beginning, when it was all black, I definitely thought that was her waking up from being knocked out of the bubble. Revealing it was a flashback to undoing the blip was a great surprise.
Yeah.
Monica's mom being creator of S.W.O.R.D. was a great idea. As for the rest of the episode, them pointing out that the bubble is some sort of radiation definitely makes me think it will have unforeseen consequences later. Mutants? Monica getting powers? Lastly, and here's where I wanted to get your thoughts, we see Wanda seems to be in control, but is she really? Like after she took care of Geraldine, she looked confused and scared. If she was really in complete control, I don't think that she would have looked so conflicted. Thoughts? Keep up the great work.
I like it.
That's true, because when she was like, you're not my neighbor, you're not my friend, I want you to leave, blah, and knocked her out. She looks like she just came out of a haze.
Well, did you notice that is the first time we see her use her actual powers?
Yeah, her red powers, yes.
Yeah, so it's like when she shuts it off, it's like she almost needs to bring herself back into scene. Right. Since everything's so much, so she definitely was popping in and out of that. She puts the wall back together.
She puts the wall and all the books back together with the red powers. And it's not like that's you're onto something here. And this is something that I've noticed with the TV show episodes is that she's never created something in the verse in the MCU. Right. She's never created something that we've seen. All her powers have always been telekinesis based or mental based. It's never been creating a thing. But in the show, she's like, dig a dig, and does the bewitched thing or the I Dream of Jeannie thing where, bow, now there's a rope and whatever. She's doing these things in this little reality, and that's brand new for her, but it doesn't look like her old powers or her powers that we've seen so far, and it doesn't it's a new bigger set. So what does that mean?
Right.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about a little bit about the idea of them introducing Mephisto and Agatha Harkness and all that stuff, and how that would be kind of a big leap for Marvel because they haven't introduced any of that before. And it would be sort of a big thing. And so we've speculated that maybe this is just going to be a story of her grief and her creating this world. But they also have never introduced her creation powers at all, Right. But they have. Right. I will say, I didn't think of it this way at the time, And she definitely has, like, through that first episode, she has this magics where she's like causing things to levitate and all this stuff. But creating things whole cloth is never something we've seen her do until the magic show. And so, like, maybe that was Marvel's way of being like, look, this is her using these powers very deliberately, and she has the power to turn a piano into a cardboard cutout. She has the power to create a pulley out of thin air. She has the power to create all this stuff that she's doing. She can move this person from there to there. Like, these are, in a weird way, that was introducing new power sets of Wanda's that we've never seen before.
Or she can only do that stuff inside this bubble that she's created. So she's the one saying what people see in this, thing is her doing all this other stuff.
Absolutely.
Or she can only do that within this bubble that somebody else created for her.
Yeah, that's absolutely possible.
Because who's sending out these signals? You would think that she wouldn't want to be sending out these, radios or the TV signals, and like, is she editing the TV show herself, or is somebody editing that stuff out?
She's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, like it's a lot of
censoring
stuff.
the feed.
Yeah,
right.
My thinking on someone censoring the feed is somehow this transmission is coming from her. Like, she is transmitting this TV show that is. It is what she wants the world to be like. So she, or possibly Vision, are creating this little world to live in, and it is what they want the world to be like, and they are sending that out to the world. So those little edits that we see where they cut things out, those are edits that she is like intentionally forgetting or losing. And that's what I think, that moment where she throws Geraldine out of the through the walls, and then that look on her face, the haze everyone keeps talking about, like she's coming out of a haze. I think it's her going into a haze. It's her going like, I'm throwing her out, I'm rebuilding my little world, and then I'm receding back into the zombie version of me that's just going through the motions and living my happiest life here in Westview.
Man, like
that's what I think.
The vision that I have in my head of like that, like the inspiration of that thought, is that she puts everything back together and then just kind of like slowly falls back into like waiting arms of like devils and demons, like lifting her up and carrying her. Ugh. Like falling back into the haze. She's just like, take me.
Yeah, that's real creepy.
That's what I was thinking about with Agnes, and how you guys are saying maybe she wasn't, that she was actually stuck there. But she, if remember, after we watched the trailer, I don't know, 500,000 times, she has this scene where she's like, am I dead? That you guys are talking about. She's like, no, but you are. And then after it, she has that evil cackle. And we've seen that she's the only one who knows that Vision's not supposed to know what's going on. So the fact that she would give that away and like kind of tell him that, I think is a little bit more sinister than just being, like, I'm stuck in here. I have no, I'm a victim too. Like, you're not supposed to tell him that.
Agatha Harkness, Agent of Mephisto.
Yes.
Yeah. There's definitely something going on with Agnes, and we've seen featurettes or trailers where she's like giving the two of them direction, like stage direction.
Oh yeah. In the 90s looking episode, where she's like, should we just take it from the top? And then like the Wanda and Vision are like, what the hell is she talking about? She's like, should we just take it from the top? Okay. And then they start over. Like, God, this show's so weird.
So
I know.
Here's my thought. Like, we keep saying like, who's in control?
Mojo.
We keep saying who's in control. Which one of the two of them is it? Is it Mephisto or is it her? And
Mojo.
Or is it Mojo? Fine.
It's Mojo.
Thank you.
The
Mojo
characters that have been on screen so far, Agnes and Wanda, there's a lot of like discussion of whether one of them is in control. Here's my thought of how this is working, and the reason it seems confusing. Agnes is riding Wanda's powers like a bucking bronco. Like, she is trying to tame the powers, to do whatever she's trying to do. And Wanda is in control now, but Agnes is trying to get that control and trying to cede that control by like whatever means she can. And that's why sometimes she seems like she's orchestrating things, because she's pulling on those reins as best she can, but Wanda is too powerful and too in control of herself right now for her to ride the Bronco properly.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, what if Agnes? I keep trying to call her Agatha.
Right.
What if Agnes is? No, that doesn't work because he would recognize her. I was thinking, what if it's his missing person? What if it's his missing witness protection person?
We've talked about that a little bit. Like, that could be why she doesn't have an ID up there, because she's in witness protection.
Jimmy would have noticed. Like, he would have said something. He would have been like, that's my person.
Well, no, but or he wouldn't have, because the witness protection.
He's trying to compartmentalize it.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, so like, what if? I mean, Agatha Harkness in comics is Wanda's mentor as far as mysticism is concerned. So it makes sense that she would be like trying to help her get control of it, or trying to get control of it for her. And she's actually the one that removed the memories of the children whenever they got taken away and absorbed back into Mephisto. But I was thinking, what if Agnes was just a part of Westview whenever Wanda showed up to do this thing, and she just kind of saw that, like, this crazy person is in control. Maybe the best way to kind of determine where things are going, or the way to get the best outcome for me is to put a hand on the wheel and lean into it. Like, maybe that's what she's doing. It could just be that simple.
Yeah. Before we get to the next feedback, let's bring Ash on and see if anybody in the chat has had anything interesting to say.
Okay, so I have a couple fun ones. Melissa says, I'm sticking with that Wanda is the main villain of Phase 4 because the whole Phase 4 presentation, like a year and a half ago, each project had a red glow that was reminiscent of Wanda's powers. I like it.
I like that too. That's a good thought. It doesn't have to be that she's even necessarily the bad guy in each one. Like, what if so we're about to get the What If series, right? Yep. What if, like, her powers, just her fritzing out and destabilizing all of reality, is causing all these spin-off realities, and we're getting glimpses of all of it, and it all sort of like starts to converge together in some sort of like we keep talking about, all these convergences or incursions or whatever. And a lot of the stories relate to those, even if Wanda's not in it. Her powers are still felt throughout the verse.
Right. Like, it's still her influence that's caused it.
Yeah. It could be in small ways or big ways. It could be like a character has changed slightly, or it could be the world has changed completely.
The world is
changed.
I feel it.
Feel it
in the
water. Okay. Yep. So with that goes right into this. 084 says, I wonder if this event could replace the Terrigen bomb and give Miss Marvel her powers over in Jersey City.
Oh, I love that so much.
I like that a lot.
Hot damn, that's a good one. That is a real good one. Because, everybody always says the phrase is like the bubble bursts. I hate to burst your bubble. Mm-hmm. Like, what if this is a little bubble reality and it pops and explodes all of this CMBR onto Earth and irradiates everyone?
Yeah. And either mutants or Inhumans or whatever. And I know that, Captain Marvel's, the version of Miss Marvel that I know from the game, which is really the only version I know, is very tied into being an Inhuman, though. Yeah. Like, it's very important
she is in the comics as well. Like, it's right. It's the Terrigen bomb that causes her transformation.
Yeah, what I mean is not just that she is an Inhuman and it's caused by Terrigen, but the fact that, like, she feels
part of her identity.
Yeah, she feels passionately about being an Inhuman, and that the people like her are being hunted and stuff like that. She feels very passionately about helping her people.
Right, and that's kind of central core to her character. It's difficult though to, especially as bad as the show was, it's difficult to bring in the Inhumans without setting a lot of groundwork for the past, which might happen because of Eternals.
They could, absolutely could, or they could just reboot the idea of Inhumans completely, which may happen as well.
Melinda may happen.
Anything else from the chat, Ash?
Yep, I have about 3 more. A couple from Muzzy. Muzzy says, have we seen any cops inside Westview? Maybe Wanda expelled them all? And actually thinking about it, I don't think we saw any cops.
Yeah, we have not. I've heard some speculation that like she removed the cops because that would like she was removing any like force that could stop her. But I don't know if it makes sense because she can change everyone however she wants. Like, why would a police officer be any different, I guess?
And then he says, what if Wanda came to Agatha Harkness to try to resurrect Vision because Agatha has real magic and it went very wrong? Maybe Wanda is tapping into Agnes's powers.
Yeah.
That would help to solidify that theory of Agnes as a hand on the wheel sort of thing. And very recently, Hera JK in chat kind of had a similar theory of what if Wanda was pregnant when she got blipped.
Cool, I was going to read that.
Okay, no, I want it. I want it, Ashley.
Fine, I'll delete it. Sorry, JK, I was getting
What if Wanda was pregnant when she got blipped, compounded by grief? She goes to a grief counselor, Agnes, who puts Wanda in a trance, but the trance comes to life and takes over the town. Like, all of these things of, what if she went to Agnes seeking help? And Agnes is just like, oh, I got you, girl. And then it goes way wrong.
Yeah.
And Agnes is trying to get it all back to some sort of normalcy. And, she's got a hand on the wheel to try to help steer this thing.
Yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And then he says, I love Dr. Darcy Lewis as a feminist voice, like her not being shy and correcting people when they don't call her doctors perfect. And we know Jimmy is good because he always calls her Dr. Lewis. I agree with that, great. But you know what I don't love? Her voice.
You don't like Darcy's voice?
I like Darcy. I don't like that. Her and I wouldn't be able to be friends for very long. Co-workers, yes, but not friends.
Wow.
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to take a short break and be back with lots more feedback right after this ad we have no control over. And we're back. On the break there, Jeff, you were talking about how you ship Darcy and Wu. Is this true? Why? Give me any evidence why you should ship them.
Have you seen how cute they are together?
They're funny, but I don't see them not romantically. I don't get it. People keep saying this.
I don't get it either. I'm with you.
I don't know. I think about it.
Screen.
I don't know. They're really great. Like there's a lot of great chemistry there as far as like the way their characters interact, and maybe not even necessarily like romantically shipping them.
I agree. They're good buddies.
They could be best friends.
Yeah, sure.
I want them to be. I've seen so many memes that are like, this is Mulder and Scully, and it was Wu and Monica, but I want it to be Wu and Darcy.
Me too. I saw the same memes and I was like, no, this needs to be Wu and Darcy all day. That would be a wonderful show, an X-Files show based around like Wu and Darcy figuring stuff out. Love it.
Yes.
I would love it.
I would 100% watch that all day, every day.
It's just called the X-Files and they track down mutants.
How dare you?
All right, let's get back over here to the other scene and hit some feedback. We
got Jordan Shelton coming in saying, let me start off by saying, you guys are great. I'm a new listener, but y'all have me hooked.
Hey, thanks, Jordan.
Just one quick observation looking back at Endgame. I don't know if you guys spoke about it already or not, but at the end when Clint and Wanda are talking about wishing Nat was there to see they won, Wanda says they both do, or they both know. Now, what if she's meaning Vision and her brother because she already has something planned and it wasn't exactly what Marvel was trying to lead on, that she meant Nat and Vision, but was only thinking of her 2 losses? Or just would like to hear what you guys think. You guys are great. Oh, by the way, that afternoon exchange was hilarious last week. As Ashley rolls her eyes.
I was like, I thought we were going to get through
live
it.
that down.
Yeah, never.
Never gonna live it down.
Never gonna live it down. No, it's no, seriously, Ashley, you were the best, and you're the best to have a sense of humor about it and laugh at it. That's why that clip's so funny, because you're not like
so funny.
You're not actually like so upset. It's so funny.
No, I know how smart I am. It's 12:48 in the afternoon.
Hey, look at you.
I'm growing.
It's like I learned a new word. Watch me use it in a sentence.
It is now the afternoon.
It's interesting what Jordan brings up here about it being the two of them. I think that takes away from the line in game. I like the line being both of them do, and she's talking about Vision and Nat because they both lost someone in that moment. But clearly, so far, it seems Pietro is on her mind. She's given Vision blue eyes and speed powers. Which we've talked about it before, but the featurettes leading up to this show talked a lot about how she lost her brother. And I just think we're going to get there. We're going to get to talk about her brother some. Whether that's what she intended in that sentence or not, the brother is definitely going to tie into this.
Thinking about it, she lost a lot. She lost Vision and Pietro, but she technically also lost Steve and Natasha. Who were the only other two people who were very close with her.
Yeah, they were all on her.
Tony, technically, I mean, I know they had their ups and downs when he locked her in her room, but it was still, he looked out for her.
She basically lost it. Who's left from Team Cap?
Scott. Hawkeye. But where is he? That's really bothering me where Clint is in all of this.
In all of this right here?
Yeah, in all of WandaVision, because he, cares about her.
Consider this is 3 weeks after the events of Endgame and the unsnap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's with his family.
That's true.
Yeah, family schmamly. She needs his help.
All three of his kids and his wife got dusted.
It is interesting that we've got these two Avengers here and no one has called the Avengers. Now, whether the Avengers still exist in any form that's able to call, because it's been 5 years and it just may be that the government hasn't really reestablished relations like they need to yet. This is 3 weeks after the de-snapping. Wow. I know that, but saying it out loud, I'm like, wow, this is so freaking cool to get this story nestled in this little pocket in the universe, Yep.
Oh, or do we think that he wouldn't remember her? Vermilion says, maybe Clint doesn't remember her now because of what's happening. If everybody inside that bubble, everybody who knows them, does it have to be on a level of knowing you or knowing about you?
Yeah, what if she severed all the personal connections with the Avengers? Nobody. Well, that doesn't make sense either, because Dr. Darcy Lewis looks at the screen and is like, isn't that, it looks like her. But
everybody would know who the Avengers are.
So here's the thing I'm thinking is going to happen. We know that Wu was being affected by this little world and it was telling him what to do, I think we're going to find out that she's creating this little world and all these agents and sword agents that think they're doing their own thing outside are at some point going to realize that they're also under her sway. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And no matter what they're doing to work it out, they're not really going to get anywhere unless she wants them to. And possibly calling in an Avenger might be a thing she doesn't want. And so they're just not doing it.
The way that Darcy says it's going to start getting bigger and bigger, maybe that's already happening.
Yeah, well, we know that Wu is being controlled from the outside. It's not just in the bubble. Things outside are being controlled. Those two police officers, Wu. And so, why aren't all of them? They're all hanging out right next to this thing. And like we said, it could be the whole world has changed. So the fact that she's not calling an Avenger, or they haven't called the Avengers, does not seem suspect to me. It seems like completely what would be happening,
Mm-hmm. Where's Fury?
He's in space.
But he was getting his shoes on. I saw him. He was coming back.
He's getting his shoes on so he could come back.
Back to work. Back to work.
If that's in time, that's a while later.
Yeah.
That's 6 months after this.
Yeah, it was 3 weeks, so it would be 3 weeks. So we have to assume that Tony's funeral was a week after that? What are they trying to think of the timeline of how fast she did this?
Yeah. Well, we know that she came back to work 2 weeks later, right? And then this is a week after.
Wanda, though. So Wanda must have immediately kind of done this.
Well, yeah.
Monica came back 3 weeks later, and this is 24 hours after that.
Yeah. Damn.
We got feedback here from George. I don't know how to say your name exactly, George. I'm going to say George Hyde. But it's Jorj, so it may be different. Hi, folks. I am thoroughly enjoying the ramblings on WandaVision and would like to share a few thoughts that have occurred to me over the past few episodes. Check your elder assumptions at the door. I was around to watch the 60s sitcoms on their original run. About that same time, I discovered the majesty of Marvel and remain a giddy fanboy to this day. I have no idea who has formed the bubble. I sincerely hope it is not Wanda. We have moved past the trope of the angry black man as villain and should do the same with tired concept of emotional woman I'm cutting out articles left and right, of the emotional woman driven mad by the loss of her man. If Marvel wants to explore the effect of grief, do a what if with Captain Marvel losing Peggy and driving off the deep end. With Emma Caulfield Ford in the cast, I think we shouldn't rule out the possibility of the big bad might be bunnies. Excelsior, George. I wanted to bring this one up forward because of this idea of Wanda being the angry or the sensitive woman who was driven mad by the loss of her spouse or her partner or whatever. While I definitely hear George in this and like that trope is a thing that could be moved beyond. I personally think that tropes should not be relied on, but they also shouldn't be completely skidded against all the time because sometimes it just fits the story. And the thing about her, it's not just that she lost her man. Like in the course of a very short period of time, she lost her brother. She lost tons of her friends.
She lost her brother years ago.
But the thing with that was they had a psychic bond, so she didn't just lose him, and he didn't just die in front of her. She literally felt him die in her brain.
That's true. My point is,
and she's never had to deal with it.
That's a little further in the past. I agree, but it is still. I'm saying it in chronological order, so it gets closer and closer. She lost him. She had to kill Vision.
She was forced to kill
Vision needlessly. So it wasn't just like she lost someone, but she personally had to kill Vision, then needlessly because Thanos rewound time, killed him anyway. Then these things are compounding, and then when she gets back, she has lost. She loses Cap. He leaves. She has lost Tony. She's lost Nat. She's lost everyone that kind of like this whole life, not to mention the people she killed in Lagos, which caused all of Civil War. Like she caused a lot of problems. Like she's been through a lot of trauma in the last few years. And I don't think that having her have an emotional reaction, even an extreme one, is bad. And like, and given powers that she doesn't understand fully, like, I don't think it would be bad. I also think that it could be other people, like playing her behind the scenes, like we've discussed many times. But I don't know. I just don't think that trope existing. It's not like every woman in this story is having crazy emotional reactions. Monica Rambeau is a freaking boss. Darcy's a boss. We have tons of characters in this world who are examples of strong, stoic women.
Yeah, I have no problem with this as a woman. It's like sometimes it works for the story. I know the whole trope. They were talking about that with Star Wars too, like with Rey going dark side. People like, we're tired of seeing the girl go crazy, and then it's the man who has to stop her. It's like, yeah, but not really. I kind of enjoy those stories. Don't speak for me.
Right, absolutely. And thank you for your input there.
I like evil villainesses.
Like, I want to be Hela.
Yeah. Oh.
That crown?
What I would do with that power.
All bad things. All bad things you would do.
Bad things.
You like this story because you are this story.
Yeah. I love it.
But no, I just, my point is, I don't think a universe has to never touch a trope. You know what I mean? Like tropes are tropes, and like you shouldn't rely on them.
The word trope has such a negative connotation to it, and it can be a bad thing if it's poorly done, or if it's leaned on for the sake of leaning on that trope.
Or if it's all you ever do. It's like the LGBTQ characters dying. Like that happens a lot in movies. And if it's all you ever do is have them die, then you're not doing your job right. But if it's like a thing that happens, then like
if it fits the narrative, if it's part of the story, and if it's done well, if it's approached and handled well, then a trope is not a bad thing. It's a story beat.
Yeah, right. I agree, and I totally hear what George is saying, and I think like totally all respect to George, but I also think I just think it wouldn't be bad in this situation because they've really laid the groundwork for her to have a big emotional reaction here.
Yeah, the plant is there. We're getting the payoff now.
Yeah, I think so.
Let's see. Corey sent us an email. Hey, Matthew, Jeff, and Ashley.
Oh, hey.
Love you all a highly classified amount. Wanted to offer 2 quick observations on the latest episode, both of which may point to the idea that Wanda's Westview is in another universe. First, when Darcy first takes out her instruments to observe the situation, she notes the high level of cosmic microwave background radiation, in other words, the energy left over from the birth of our universe. For there to be so much CMBR for her to note it and for it to be a prominent part in the dialogue hints to me that Wanda, or someone, has created another universe with its own Big Bang and prominently detectable CMBR. Second, when Wanda throws Monica out of her house, it is very clearly daytime. This is happening right after Vision talks to Agnes and Herb. Yet when Monica lands in the grass next to all the sword equipment, it is nighttime. Maybe Wanda is controlling the time of day on the set of the TV show, but maybe it's another universe altogether. Until next time, Corey.
I like it.
It absolutely could be. I do think there are other explanations for the CMBR, like the fact that her powers come from the Infinity Stones, and we know the Infinity Stones were created at the creation of the world, and like maybe they just give off CMBR, or the powers that she is displaying gives off CMBR. But I do like it.
Well, the Infinity Stones also have a minor gamma radiation aspect to them.
They do.
So like they've got all kinds of radiation kind of like, layered upon them. So CMBR is just like, what's one more thing, right?
Or if, we talk about the creation of the universe creating the CMBR. We also know that the stones were created at that time. What if the creation of an Infinity Stone is what's causing the CMBR?
Well, I was going to say, not a scientist, guys, so help me out.
We are, so please ask us. Yeah. We got you.
You're asking the right people.
When Thanos says he reduced them to atoms, doesn't that just mean she might be able to, like, unreduce them?
Yeah, she could bring all those atoms back together.
Is that why the world's not in chaos right now? Because you can't destroy them or whatever,
exactly.
What the ancient one said. All that important stuff.
That's what the writers say, that they're not destroyed. They have been, like, scattered, disseminated into molecules in the universe, and they still are operating and still creating the flow of time or whatever.
Right. I'm no more Infinity Stones. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice to get away from Infinity Stones.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. That's a point in the column of that shot with her looking at the Mind Stone is a flashback, because I don't really think they want to do, like, let's do another Infinity Stone story. They've done it a lot.
Yeah, right?
It's an entire 3 phases.
The first 3 phases is called the Infinity Saga.
Yeah. And I like that those stones can still exist and come back in some form someday, maybe, but like we just got past that. And I mean, we're still dealing with the repercussions. Her powers still flow from those Infinity Stones.
Yeah. Never gonna get away. Yeah.
Let's deal with other rocks now. Give me Terrigenesis.
Yeah, let's deal with other rocks. Did anybody see that there were some missing astronauts that might become rocks?
Oh man, the theory that I like related to Fantastic Four is like cosmic radiation, right? Mm-hmm. Cosmic microwave background radiation. This is where the Fantastic Four come from.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
or maybe
possible.
Maybe this is where they come in, or maybe this is another universe and this is where they break through into this one.
I'm sure it's in the feedback somewhere, but did you see the thing going around where apparently on one of the screens or something they talk about missing astronauts, or he says missing astronauts, that some of their team is missing?
Oh yeah, I loved watching that on the chat because I posted that off Twitter, and people like it really blew my mind. It's like they said they still can't find some of their astronauts.
Yeah,
is that what they said? I don't remember him saying that. Not saying they didn't.
I believe he says they're shorthanded because half of their people went in the snap or whatever, and
another half lost their nerve.
And then somewhere in there,
yeah.
I didn't see it. I think it might be on a screen somewhere. They talk about missing astronauts, or they're missing a team or something like that. And it's just been going around the internet that's like a Easter egg for the Fantastic Four. I don't know exactly where it is. It's probably in the feedback somewhere.
I hope so.
I mean, this whole damn thing could be an Easter egg for the Fantastic Four. Like, jeez, oh my God.
I still want it to be the Fantastic Four come in because Doctor Strange has to go to hell to save them from Mephisto. That's what I want to happen.
Wow. That's
a storyline.
That is a hell of a story that we concocted. Because Ashley and I went down this whole road in the Facebook in the Facebook chat that we have, where we're like, okay, Fantastic Four number 277. This came right after Secret Wars when Ben Grimm had been away for 9 months. And he teleports back to Earth with the deactivated head of Ultron. And he's like looking around New York like, man, everything is so different since I've been away for 9 months. Like, oh yeah, 9 months? What about 5 years, champ? And then he goes back to Alicia Masters, and Johnny Storm is with her at that point. Like, oh, Johnny, you're just a playa. Anyway, so Doctor Strange, because it's Doctor Strange, he feels some evil emanating from Connecticut, and he goes to investigate.
As you always do. You always feel evil.
As Strange does. He goes to investigate, finds some occult happenings, and apparently Reed, Sue, and Franklin Richards are dead in a random home, along with some Cromwell person who was an occult leader or whatever.
And turns out just to clarify, this is a story you guys made up on the chat?
No. This is from Fantastic Four number 277.
Okay.
It was the Wraith series.
Sorry, you were telling you came up with something on the chat and I was confused.
No. We're piecing things together from comics.
Okay.
And so, because they were apparently slain, their souls were actually in Mephisto's little pocket universe or pocket realm that he calls hell. People call it hell. He allows them to call it hell. Anyway, Mephisto is just absolutely peachy keen fine with everybody calling him the devil. He's like, yeah, sure, call me the devil because that makes you fear me. Anyway, so Mephisto is torturing Reed and Sue. Franklin is trapped in a crystal. He's drawing power from Franklin, the children. He's drawing power from Franklin. Strange shows up and is like, yo, dog, you can't be doing this. I'm Doctor Strange. Mystical fight. Oh, the hoary host of Hoggoth and all that jazz. And turns out he can't beat him, but he sees that Strange sees that Mephisto is drawing power from the crystal. He destroys the crystal, and then Mephisto's like, wait, Franklin, I'm gonna torture you for the rest of your life. I'm in control here. You're not in control. Franklin's like, fuck you, bro. Blow, blasts him with eye blast, shatters him. And where he shatters him into soul shards, which is what the twins are made from the following year, I think, in comics. The twins are made from those soul shards, and they're crafted by Wanda from those shards into actual children. It's part of why they're not real. But later, a year later, this guy, this guy who is an actor, and I was on this guy. I was like, he's an actor, and it's a TV show.
I know.
It's a TV show. Anyway, he's an actor, and he gets into a horrific car accident, like gets an arm severed. Mephisto has like gathered himself up a little bit by then, and it's just like, hey, bro, I'll save your life if you become my agent, and like severs all of his limbs, replaces his limbs with demons. Like he's crazy looking. His name is Master Pandemonium. Do you remember when we had somebody write in about Master Pandemonium?
Yes, I do.
On episode 3. Anyway, Master Pandemonium is the guy that is trying to hunt down the kids. He eventually does hunt down the kids and absorb them. This was in 89. He reabsorbs them, and then he, like, as he gets all of the rest of the shards, the star-shaped hole in his chest fills up, and he becomes Mephisto. And Mephisto has regenerated himself in this world, and he can now be, badass Mephisto again. Like, what if this is that? What if this is that, Matt?
Yeah. And then, like, right after that's the Spider-Man stuff with Mephisto. So it all
with the One More Day.
That sounds like a very intense story, and I think it's all great. I think it's real deep on Mephisto and the Fantastic Four and all that for them to do that now. Like, that seems, I mean, like, maybe this is the beginning of that tale, and then, like, like you said, the children come about, or maybe we get that Fantastic Four story as a flashback, and then it just feels weird. I don't think they're going to put the Fantastic Four in hell, like, anytime soon. Like, I think
if it's Mephisto, it's the only thing that connects Spider-Man to Doctor Strange to the Fantastic Four to everybody's connected to this one thing because it's all connected. But without him, I don't know how it's connected. Space.
Well,
it's in space.
This could all easily just be a story where Wanda is controlling the world and creating this little realm,
But Matt,
I don't think it's that
Mephisto
simple.
was there when the first Celestial was corrupted, when the progenitor was corrupted. He laid his eggs as a fly inside this guy.
I'm not okay. See,
Mephisto
all of this
is
stuff
eternal.
Stuff like they will never do on Disney Plus, but also I just don't.
She's animating Vision's corpse and necrofucking him.
Allegedly.
They did chop Thanos' head off right in the beginning of that movie, though.
They did. They chopped a head off.
They did, and did not show it though. They just you hear about.
They showed his head.
I think I see it in my head so much. I think it happened.
So my point is not just from this is Disney Plus, and I can't see them doing the crazy some of that crazy stuff with Hell yet. Anyway, also just from a story perspective, like we don't know who Mephisto is in MCU at all. We don't know who the Fantastic Four are. We don't know who any of this is. Like maybe the story you just described is all of Phase 4. Like we're gonna like slowly piece it together through multiple things. Yeah. But like it's a lot. We also haven't. I don't think we've really mentioned this on this podcast, but this is another thing that I've heard a lot of concern about. In China, apparently, they do not allow like devil imagery in their big blockbusters. Like they don't get like allow some of that stuff, and like the censors supposedly. So there's a lot of speculation that they will not be able to actually do Mephisto, at least in his form. Like, I
mean, his form in comics is fucking crazy anyway, but he can shapeshift, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. He can look like whatever he wants.
Maybe they'll do like I just have heard that speculated on a lot of other shows where they're talking about like, China doesn't really like let you distribute movies there that have like that are about the devil.
Get over it, China.
The thing that keeps us going, like we said, it goes right into Spider-Man One More Day, and One More Day is where he had to give up the public knowledge of his identity and his relationship with Mary Jane. He was married, so he had to give all of that up in order to save Aunt May. The last thing we saw in Far From Home was the reveal of his public identity, and like we talked about those set photos where it looked like he had a piece of paper and was looking at it like I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to know where she is, but I'm just checking to make sure that she's okay kind of thing. Like very easily could be, she doesn't know who I am, but I'm making sure that she's okay. And like, that is very obviously a One More Day story. And Fantastic Four is being directed by John Watts, who is currently working on Spider-Man 3. It makes so much sense. And the Fantastic Four could easily have been like something happened in the 60s. They've been gone. Oh, where have they been? They've been in hell, Matt. They've been in hell.
Sure. My point is not
double
that
hockey sticks.
Oh yeah, I don't think they've been in hell. I just don't think it's happening. I think it's absolutely possible that all these stories tie together in some way, and even that Mephisto in some form is a part of it. But I just don't see it like going literally to like hell. Like, I just don't see it. They're going to go with like, maybe they've been in an alternate dimension that is hell-like. That's possible.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
that's
it'll
what
be just
Mephisto's hell is.
castle or whatever. It's not actually,
Right. But it sounds like that storyline with him torturing them in hell. I just don't think they're going to go there like so soon. Anyway, let's get back. Okay. We'll be right back after this ad we have no control over.
Oh yeah, good point.
All right, and we're back. Let's get back into the feedback. What's Lauren Waters got to say?
Okay, Lauren Waters says, hey guys, I will try to keep this as brief as possible, but if you need to cut it or anything, I totally get it. Cool, cutting it. I'm just kidding. She said, I love the show and thank you so much for all you guys have done. It's been such a bright spot in some really hard times. Mushy stuff out of the way, here's my theory. So in the episode, Darcy mentions the fact that there is a colossal amount of CMBR or cosmic microwave background radiation coming out of the reality bubble at a level that isn't fatal yet. As a comics fan, the mention of radiation always makes my senses tingle, as that seems to be where like 60 to 70% of heroes get their powers. Since radiation has been known to cause genetic mutations, could this be how mutants get into the MCU? Have a great week, Lauren. P.S. I love the fact that podcasters basically have the same job as sword agents, where they started writing, why hexagons on their whiteboard. I immediately thought of the cast.
Thank you, Lauren. And thank you for the mushy stuff at the beginning. This community has been a bright spot for me in a really hard year, too. So thank you.
It's been a hell of a time trying to get through 2020.
Yep. And 2021 ain't starting off great. So we'll see how this goes. But again, mutants possibly. And I absolutely love that they do the agents are doing our jobs.
Yeah, like it feels like we're getting a little bit of validation. Validation.
I just feel seen as hell. I just feel so seen.
Like our existence is validated by Jimmy Woo.
There's a little Jimmy Woo in all of us.
There's a little Jimmy Woo in all of us.
Swords on the Patreon, level 5, $5 level on the Patreon. That's why they know before it comes out.
Yeah, they know before it comes out much faster than we do.
Yeah. It's so funny. It's such a great troll for them to make a show where they say all the things the podcasters are saying, and then release it after they've said it. That's such a good troll.
Yeah. It's funny.
It's kind of the ultimate troll, really. Like, hey, we know you guys are going to be saying these exact things. And like, oh, look, it turns out you are.
It's so beautiful. So freaking beautiful.
Tuscan Radio sends us a tweet, says, so I know Monica was all like, it's Wanda. It's all Wanda. But I just feel like there's something deeper. Like Wanda just seems so terrified that reality is breaking in, almost like she's being manipulated. Also, they never said who Dottie and Agnes are in real life, which makes me feel suspicious.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all aboard the Dottie is Clea train.
I still like that.
Okay, give me a 30-second primer on who is Clea.
Doctor Strange's multiverse booty call.
Damn right.
Okay, that was even less seconds. I like it.
She's the princess of the dark dimension or something.
Yeah. She's related to Dormammu. She's a princess of the dark dimension, which kind of makes it like really, what is the term?
Super sexy?
No. I mean, yes, eventually, but it's kind of, it's like the forbidden fruit sort of thing. Like it's
the Juliet to his Romeo.
Star-crossed lovers.
He shouldn't be hanging out with her because she's so
evil.
Tied to this guy that he made a deal with. I'm sorry, he made a bargain with.
Bargains.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain. I'd like to take her out on a date.
Take her.
Dormammu sitting on the porch with a shotgun.
Yeah. Bring her back by 11.
I just see like Doctor Strange as Peter Parker and Dormammu as Adrian Toomes.
Yeah, riding around in the car. I like it. Bring her back by 11.
Bring her back by 11. Oh.
All right, we got a few more short ones here, and then we get into the like multi-page ones. So let's just try to at least burn through these short ones. We're already at 2 hours, guys. Oh my goodness, There's so much feedback. I love it. I freaking love it. But I'm sorry that we can't get to everybody's.
Daydream Cole says, just curious about the commercials. I noticed that the one for the Strucker Watch keeps playing while Darcy is talking with Wu after the failure, quote unquote, of trying to reach Wanda via radio. Is someone keeping tabs on the commercials as well?
That bothered me too. I'm like, do you guys not see that Hydra, like the Hydra symbol on the watch? Are you watching? I saw your little hands taking notes earlier. What's happening?
Right?
Yeah. So that is interesting. Now it's got me wondering, we talked about what if Wanda's controlling them a bit. And we've also talked about how the commercials are her trauma. So I wonder if the commercials are like parts of the trauma that she can't fully expel from her mind, and they're sort of manifesting as these commercial breaks, and she is having them look away when they're happening or something. You know what I mean? Like, what if all that is part of her plan? Not as a plan, just like she doesn't want anyone looking at her trauma if she's in control of those people out there.
Don't look at my trauma.
Sorry,
I can't process it while you're looking.
This is 3 or 4 theories deep, like kind of intersecting, but like I think that's kind of interesting.
Well, after you guys read that thing with the toaster thing last week, I definitely think that toaster is supposed to be Vision now. So I don't know if it's all her traumas, but like after your thing, we're like, you're a toaster.
Yeah.
Not our children. I really think it's Vision.
Yeah, I asked when we were talking about that, I was like, or we talked about the toaster on the first episode, and I was like, wasn't Vision called a toaster at one point? And then and we didn't think of it, but that was where it was, is in that comic.
Yep.
And it had the dots on his head, like the
It looks like a little face. It's a toaster.
It's made by Stark.
Yeah.
I think it's everything together, because like the Stark and the beeping is her trauma, plus Vision is her trauma. It's just all very traumatic.
Yeah, all the traumatic stuff she's trying to forget is all kind of bound up in those commercials. I think that's the best interpretation of those commercials, but why they wouldn't be watching them on the outside doesn't make any sense from that perspective. Also, those people haven't made it to the board either, right?
Oh, the people from the commercials, I didn't even look. I didn't look.
Oh, yeah.
No, they weren't there.
Interesting.
But then again, they aren't like the major personalities or whatever.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're supposed to be like her dead parents.
That's a theory I've heard, is that it could be your dead parents. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's faces that she knows, and it's faces that she knows in potentially a lot of different roles or a lot of different aspects, Like, I saw my parents dress up to go out on the town, to go to an opera or whatever. And that's why they look like they do in the Strucker commercial. I watched that was about to be a weird thing. I know that my mom loves bubble baths, so Hydra Soak. My dad was tired of my mom burning his toast, so toaster, whatever. Like,
right.
She's probably seen her parents in a bunch of different roles and aspects of their lives. Like, it makes sense that they could just be applicable like that.
Yeah. I think that's like, I don't think that's necessary, just because she's also making little lives for everyone that she doesn't even know. She's just shoving people into lives. But I think the idea that all of this is based on her trauma, if the commercials are based on her trauma, it makes a lot of sense that they would be her parents.
Yeah, because they fell into the hole, like the way that
the way she tells the story.
Pietro was talking about.
And it seems almost like she has been repressing her trauma for so long that different parts of her story are less knowable. Like Vision is more recent, and this he's in this story. Pietro is clearly on her mind with I think the super speed and the blue eyes. I think they are like clues of Pietro. But she's like buried him, and then these other characters, Strucker, Stark, possibly her parents, only show up in the commercials that she doesn't interact with. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
It's like her trauma is being like nested into this little TV show world.
Just got layers of trauma.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that goes again to like, what if she went to somebody for help with her trauma and they were working through it, and then, oops, we made a bubble.
Yeah, like an accident. Oh, God.
Could be an accident. Could be someone offering. There's also been the theory that like Agnes is going to offer her a way to like have Vision back or something like that.
Eternal sunshine of the spotless Wanda.
That's right.
Oh, I wonder if Vision's supposed to be like her subconscious. Because he's always the one kind of slightly figuring things out. And then when he figures it out, it gets rewound. And I don't know.
It's interesting. Yeah.
I don't know.
What is Vision? Like, that's the thing. Is like, is he an independent is he an independent life form that can figure this out apart from Wanda? Or is he a part of her that Wanda is projecting? And maybe he's the best parts of her because that's what she thinks of Vision, if that makes sense. Like she may be allowing herself to go dark, but she would not do that to Vision. So Vision's the one who's still saving people. Vision's the one who's still doing things like that. I don't know.
Wow, that would be really traumatic. There's a shot in the teaser, like the next week teaser or whatever, where Vision is like standing at the barrier and trying to push through it to get out. So I think that he might be an independent entity, but whether or not he's being animated by her and kept alive by her within the confines of this bubble, like, that's yet to be seen.
Yeah, and he's definitely seems to be being deceived by her. Like she seems to be controlling his personality at least a little bit to like make him forget, like, oh yeah, this world is where you belong. This is what we do. She keeps doing things like that.
He had a very uncomfortable smile.
Yeah.
Very uncomfortable smile.
At the end, yeah.
Lee Besley says, hey guys, only just started to listen to the podcast because of WandaVision, but just scratching the surface on some of your older stuff. Anyway, more to the point, I'm really interested in how they will use the character Jimmy Woo. Why bring him back? It seems a weird character to call upon. So here's my slightly reaching theory in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Jimmy Woo was there to provide Scott Lang an ultimatum, and if you stay here under house arrest and don't go out being a hero, then you won't go to prison, and you can still see your daughter. Sounds like our friend Mephisto. Anyway, I know it's a mega stretch, but hey, it's a theory. Thanks for the podcast, guys. Really enjoying it so far. Besley. What if Jimmy Woo is Mephisto?
Ooh, I like it.
Woofisto.
Woofisto.
All right, so
Mephisto.
we got a Deadpool on who is Mephisto.
Yeah.
Who Mephisto is, rather. Is it Ralph? Is it Jimmy Woo?
Is it Mr. Scratchy?
Is it Mr. Scratchy? Is it Dottie?
The stork.
The stork. Is it Vision? Some people have said Vision.
Really?
Yep.
Ooh.
Is it Phil Dunphy?
Is it
What's his name? Samson? Dr. Samson?
Doc Samson,
Dr.
yeah.
Samson.
Is it Director Hayward? Acting Director Hayward?
Yeah. Like, it literally could be any of them, and I wouldn't be horribly surprised. Like, how is this show going to end that it can possibly satisfactory when everything... We've gone through so many options. Is there an option that they're going to be able to lay out in front of us that we haven't thought of? You know what I mean?
Right?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
Is there an accidental other option that's just like terrible?
Yeah.
I'm sure there is.
Mephisto is actually Darcy.
That's why she wears red lipstick.
Oh shit. Oh, she built the machine to send a signal in to get control, not to try to like break in. She's playing everybody, and she needs coffee to do it.
Coffee is hot. Hot devil.
Hot. Hell, he has a fiery realm.
Yeah.
Dr. Mephisto.
That's Dr. Mephisto to you.
Dr. Luisto in it now. God, I'm sorry.
Okay, two nested. I think we're, let's do like one or two more here.
Okay. Ryan Wertier says, haven't heard this theory and I thought I'd share. And he sent a picture. Oh, God. From both the opening / ending sequence of their sitcom episodes, the shape of a hexagon is present. The hexagon has a double meaning to it. First, the word hex in hexagon refers to Wanda's hex powers from the comics. Hexagon has 6 sides, 6 vertices, and 6 angles. 666.
Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, I like it. The six sides, 6 angles, 6 vertices. It is just like a 6-sided thing, which 6 is the number of the devil.
What shape is not going to have 6 vertices if it has 6 sides?
That's the point, though. Yeah, I agree with you. But the point is, it's 6. Just the number 6 is in there, and it's I agree.
You're forcing it. You're forcing it at that point.
Maybe.
I'm getting real tired.
Yeah, sun's getting real low.
Sun's getting real low, big guy.
Well, thank you guys for all the feedback. I'm sorry we can't get to more. I really am. We have we did almost only short ones today, and still only made it through about a third of the amount of feedback we got in. We will endeavor to do more next week, but also try to keep your feedback short so we can make it through as many as possible and get as many ideas on the board as possible. So thank you guys for writing all that feedback in. Let's see what's happening in the live chat. What's going on?
We are talking about hell chips, and I'm not a light side Padawan, but we already know that.
You're not even a gray Jedi. You're very Sith.
Super. I was like, look at my name. It's not Jedi Master Ash.
It's not Benevolent Leader Ash.
It's definitely eats hell chips, Ash. Because they were saying that Darcy eats baked lays, which are probably baked in hellfire. And I was like, I like baked lays. They're like my favorite. So hell chips. And we went from there.
Okay. Yeah. I like it.
Darcy hell chips. I like it.
Darcy hell chips. Okay.
Darcy
I
hell
have
chips.
some fun feedbacks from the chitty to chat. So
yeah, what's the live chat been spinning off of? I love this because like we get the feedback from people that write in throughout the week, and then the live chat like sort of processes it and throws back their own stuff, and it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yep. The real Chris Brown said, "What is the headcanon for why people came back from the snap differently in Far From Home than WandaVision?" I had kind of thought that the Far From Home was to be more funny, where this was supposed to show us like how scary.
This was very much a horror sequence of like, she came back, she's in a room isolated.
Yeah, some real Walking Dead vibes.
Yeah, exactly. Like she came back and was like, why is this bed made? Why is it empty? What the hell?
Yeah.
Like, where is my mom?
Yeah, it was intense. And sure, they were meant, I think he may mean the effect that was used, right? Is that what he's asking? The effect was different? No, maybe. Okay.
Maybe.
Well, he's saying, why did they come back differently? I don't know that they really did. In Far From Home, we see it from a distance, and it's from like a camcorder or something. In this, It was like close up, and we saw her like coming together. I thought it was just a different angle, different perspective on it.
Yeah.
You know what's really bad is that like this has an implication of like everybody came back, right? Exactly where they were, or you know, like what was said in interviews, like Hulk has or Banner has enough thought to be like, oh, the people who were in planes, put them on the ground, or you know, not in water.
Probably
bring everyone
not.
back.
Bring everybody back, but like
safely.
People that were crossing the street, or you know, anything like that. People who were driving, like. All of those cars are either trashed or otherwise not there, or people who were crossing the street. What if they were crossing the street, they come back and then get hit by a car like immediately?
Yeah, there was a lot of casualties.
I mean, I guess you could just say that like Hulk said, "Bring everyone back safely." Snap. Is it an Infinity Gauntlet or a monkey's paw? Is what I'm getting at. Like, this is an Infinity Gauntlet. He has all the power. It's not a monkey's paw. Like, it's not trying to trick him. It's doing what he says.
That being said, Lovely said, do we think we'll see a scene of Wanda re-snapping? What do we think that will sound like how Monica could hear Carol and her mother when she came back?
Yeah.
And Icarus goes right into that. They all kind of go together. Vision was in Wanda's arms when she was snapped. Presumably, she was alone, as they wouldn't just leave Vision's body there for 5 years. So probably when she snapped back there, she's just alone, and then immediately gets pulled into the battle.
Yeah, I assume she's not alone. She's like on a battlefield filled with half of the Wakandans and stuff, right?
Yeah, but most of the people who were like, I guess Bucky would pop back up and Sam.
Yeah, and Groot.
But he's not going to be in your arms.
No, yeah. Would not be in arms.
Man. And like, she's distraught over Vision, like dying right there. He's in her arms. She comes back and she's still in that same mental place, right? She's exactly where she was 5 years ago, but he's not.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Oh man.
That's the thing you gotta keep thinking is like, she had to kill Vision, watch him die twice, dying in her arms, and then this is all immediately after that for her. She has not processed any of this trauma yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
And she lost 5 years. She lost the world for 5 years. Like, things changed without her, and some of her close people are gone,
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, this all makes sense. Team Wanda.
Process it, girl. Do what you gotta do.
Do what you gotta do. Kill who you gotta kill. Create with whatever world you gotta create.
Yeah, puppet anybody.
It's the classic hurt people thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been through a lot of pain, and she is not, possibly, if this is all her, she's not taking into account everyone else's autonomy or freedom or like safety.
Autonomy sounds real robotic, Matt. What you trying to say? I don't know.
Don't use big words like that. No.
It's one of those like misunderstanding the words kind of jokes. I'm sorry. I understand all the words. I shouldn't joke like that.
I definitely had to look up tautology earlier. Tautology? Anyway.
Tautology.
Tautological?
Tautological. I had to look that one up earlier.
Yep.
Huh.
Not gonna lie, I did too.
Yay.
That's a 5-syllable word. I don't know that word.
A tautological argument is an argument that can be come to through pure logic, like a statement that can be proven through pure logic.
Oh, I feel smarter.
Yeah. I liked it. And now I don't remember who said that earlier, but thanks for using the word tautological so we can now use it. Or I just got to remember how to say it now.
Tautological. It was tautological, Jeff. It was
tautology. Tautology is the saying of the same thing twice in different words, basically restating the exact same thing.
Hera JK says basketball.
Yeah, right? Anyway.
Anything else in the chat we should discuss before we go down?
It was pointed out to me, like I wasn't doing my job, that the chat was wildly speculating that the Fantastic Four is in the bubble, based on what Lovely said, saying that possibly Dottie is Sue Storm.
Ooh. Oh, and if Feige had to approve her, that would make sense too.
I wonder about the age, though.
I like it.
I like it too.
Herb is the thing.
Too many herbs.
Yes. Actually, no. Like, what if Dottie is Sue Storm?
Okay.
And Mephisto is making this, and her soul has been dragged to hell, and she's just being puppeted by Wanda.
Oh. Okay, I like that a lot better.
Strange goes to hell, finds her, and then like follows her back into this reality, right?
Yes, as long as we're going to hell.
Yes.
I just don't think we're going to hell, guys. I just don't think we're going to hell. No, I love that. I love the idea that they could all be there. And this could actually introduce the Fantastic Four in WandaVision. How crazy would that be?
That would be crazy.
Oh, man. All right. Anything else in the chat, Ash?
Yeah, just a little bit. Sorry, I'm chatting with the chat. Mosey was like, I don't know if you're paying attention. And I was like, I'm paying attention. But I was just messing with him extra today. He's my friend. Okay. So Vermilion says, and I like, this is hilarious. Okay. I want to get this in. Feel like it's a strong theory for the board. Here we go. After Wanda's universe undoes changes reality in the final episode, the final shot, maybe after the final credits, is the camera pulling out from the madness, revealing it is all happening in a snow globe, and Groot is looking at it while holding up his hand in his room, and the Guardian ship in space. It's all connected. Put it on the board.
In space! Space!
He's talking about Tommy Westfall. For those of you who don't know, he's referencing Tommy Westfall. Do you guys know this Tommy Westfall universe theory?
The St. Elmo's
St. Elsewhere's fire, St. Elmo's, I don't know. Anyway, on an old
General Hospital.
No, that's the thing. It is. It's all of them. On an old soap opera, there was an episode where a little boy named Tommy Westfall, it zoomed out and you realize the entire show had been happening inside of Tommy Westfall's head. And he's a little boy looking into a snow globe, imagining the entire world of the show. So that places that show all inside this little boy's head. But because of crossovers, that show encompasses almost all of television. And not joking, like he crosses over with like there's a character from that who goes into some other soap operas, and they cross over with that. Then they cross over to like the Andy Griffith Show, and then they cross over. It goes across like almost every major like sitcom you've ever seen. And
419 multiverse shows.
Yes. So Star Trek is in there. All of like the cop shows from the 90s, like whatever, NYPD and all that stuff is all on there. Arrow is in there? Yeah. There's all these weird connections that connect to the weird shows. Like one character goes from one show to the other and it all connects and it's crazy. You can find charts on which shows connect to which shows and it's insane.
There's a grid.
Yep.
God, there's this gigantic grid.
Yep. It's real crazy. That's what Vermilion One is saying, and I love it.
It's pretty funny. Okay, and then I have one more, which I'll need you guys' help with because I don't know Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. so well. Waterfall Angel says, I just came across some info while diving down an IMDb rabbit hole. The actor who played Normally was in season 1 on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as Jesse Fletcher, who was forced to work for Cybertech. They kidnapped someone he loved in traditional Cybertech fashion. Could he be in Witness Protection Program?
Oh.
Potentially.
Interesting. I've heard people discussing that, and I think it's just a coincidence, personally, because I don't think that they're necessarily trying to tie together Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. into this, but I do think that's not a bad way of doing it, though. We always talk about how they could do these little small connections that nobody ever notices, but would connect for us. And if they had like this character from like whatever season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then they give him the same name here and he happens to be the guy in Witness Protection, that would be a great way to do it. I love that.
Yeah. He was part of the part of Cybertech because of the incentives program.
That's right. I remember
where his family was kidnapped basically, and he's forced to work for them. In order to get his family out. So that would make a lot of sense that he would be in Witness Protection because of that sort of thing.
100%.
Families just seem like a big problem. Like if you're going to fight crime and stuff, you just need to sideline the family.
Cut them out.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the idea that like people often pursue their career in lieu of having a family. I like the thought there. It's just not time for a family yet. I'm fighting crime right now.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll settle down.
Yeah, that's where you got to only date other crime fighters.
Yeah. So you have double the people after you.
Yeah. But at least they could defend themselves.
Yeah, I saw The Incredibles. I know how it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that is about it now, right? Any other major things we need to throw in? We're at 2.5 hours. Oh my goodness.
Good.
Oh, man. Good
We
stretch.
freaking love you all 3000. It's been quite a feedback day, and we didn't even get near all the stuff. So please keep writing in. Keep this stuff short and piffy if you can, so we can get to as many people as we can next week. I am just loving having a show that has this much excitement and interaction and discussion happening around it. This is so good, guys. I am so excited.
Me too. Ugh.
I am as well, sir. Like, finally having new content after a freaking year and a half of drought.
Yep.
And it's something that we can all just sit around and keep throwing shit at the board.
Yeah.
Like, it's great.
I
Paul
can't.
Sass is 2.5 hours of pelvic sorcery. What?
Thank you, old sauce. I'm going to take that as a compliment. I'm going to take it as a compliment.
What kind of sorcery is that?
It was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I know.
All right, guys. We are the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. Please support the show at patreon.com/MCUcast. Join us for trivia Wednesday night, 7:30 Central on twitch.tv/StrandedPandaTV. It is going to be a blast. We're going to give away 2 Oculuses this season.
Oculus
Quest 2s. So you come join the thing, play. It's free, and you can win Oculus eyes. Oculi.
I mean, that pans out. It is what you do with them.
You can get your very own one of these.
Yeah.
Ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Okay. We love you all 3000.
And come play mini golf with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will do a we all 3 have Oculuses. We'll give 2 away, and we will do a round of mini golf with the winners. That actually sounds super fun. That's super fun. That's awesome. I love it. So trivia Wednesday night, Stranded Panda TV on Twitch. Peace, everybody. Peace.
Bye.
Until next time, true believers.
Thank you for joining us for the Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. Available everywhere you get podcasts, and now a video version streaming live on twitch.tv/StrandedPandaTV and available at youtube.com/StrandedPanda. And if you'd like to learn more about all of our other podcasts, geeky projects, and ways to support the network, visit strandedpanda.com.